Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pamela Walker-Smith. I'm a project coordinator for the Department of Procurement Services. I've been in procurement employee for 31 years. I've had a fabulous experience here within my department. I have observed from the beginning of my employment with the city. I started off as a word processor, typing the specifications for what you guys know as a solicitation. Up to this current day, I am now over this eProcurement process. My predecessor, Felicia Warner, who initially implemented this program up under Mayor Rahm's initiative, is now working for the Department of working with Do It, and so now this baton has been passed on to me. So I will be presenting to you our procurement services iSupplier portal / eProcurement workshop, for which you will learn how to be shown how to register as a vendor, to become an iSupplier portal vendor, how to submit an electronic solicitation, how to look at your purchase orders, payments, how to send upload invoices. Right now, in the contracting area, my area, we do not allow our vendors to upload invoices. We don't have that functionality to date, but our delegate agencies are able to do that. Again, the iSupplier portal was initiated in 2015 up under Mayor Rahm Emanuel's initiative, that he wanted the city of Chicago to be transparent and technical. So my terminology, technical. I'm very excited about that because, you know, we've been a paper process forever. And, you know, paper generation for a contract could be gazillions of pages that just grow and fit in a red flex folder, maybe 2 or 3. Now with us having the electronic process, it's all electronic. Our filing system is electronic. We still do have a legacy system, but right now, being in eProcurement, the city of Chicago, our client departments, some of our vendors are very excited that now we are into the technical realm of the solicitations and allowing our vendors to maintain their own vendor database. That's another caveat to the iSupplier portal. The page that you're looking at right now is our front-facing page of what we call our microsite. Our microsite to the iSupplier portal. This page right here, this website right here, will become your best friend once you are logged into the portal. What it does is the main thing that's most important to me when I'm speaking to my vendors over the phone is the online training materials link, which we will go to. Right there, you'll find lots of help aids for you in how to process this. One of 2 factions you will acquire. You'll be able to read a PDF or view a video on the online training materials, and I will give you a look-see at that. The purpose for iSupplier and eProcurement is, again, to be more transparent to the world and to be more user-friendly for our vendors, to become more mainstream with the rest of the nations who are doing this type of procuring. And so again, we are extremely excited about it, and I hope that, you know, as you experience it, you'll become more and more familiar with it and use the portal and its tools to help you in doing business with the city. On this first page, we have our page of announcements. Right here, we discuss right here when our procurement, our DPS workshops are. Like as of today, we have a workshop every Thursday, 3rd or 4th Thursday of the month. So we have in July 18th, and our next one is in August 22nd. There are 2 factions. There is DPS, Department of Procurement Services, and then there are our delegate vendors as well. So we kind of partner together, but we do not work simultaneously. Delegates are grant-funded contracts, and of course, procurements are solicitations. But we list the delegates' workshops as well. There may be delegate vendors here in the audience today. And again, let me say thank you so very much for attending our workshop this afternoon, because it was a very rainy morning. I was in it from quite a while. And then after lunch, I noticed the sun was shining. So I said, we may get visitors today. So I'm very glad to see your faces. Thank you so very much for coming out. So the delegates, this note down here, you see it says delegate agency eProcurement training. Those are specifically detailed for our delegate departments, our grant-funded departments, and its agencies who do service, public service type of grants. It's not my area, so I can't speak to it, but this is a listing of when their workshops are. Again, below, as a vendor, you will learn how to view and respond to solicitations, how to view orders and your payments and invoices, and most important, how to update your vendor record file. You cannot imagine how large our vendor database is and how old it is, and people come and go, address changes, you know, oftentimes, and in the past and still now, paper-wise, we get requests to change addresses, add a contact name. Well, now we've given that responsibility and or ability to our vendors to do it yourself. So that's a caveat. I like that. Our next link is our login and registration page. So I'll click here. When you click on login and registration, you'll get to this page. This page right here speaks to logging in if you already have a vendor number and user ID and a password, and then it speaks to registering. To log in, you must have acquired and have already been, well, that's two factors. In order to access the system, you need to log in. That's one thing. If you are not and have not done business with the city before, then your process to gain access is to register. Here, registration. So here I opened up that link. So at vendor registration, one thing is most important. Our sister agencies, being city colleges, CHA, Park District Public Schools, CTA, MacPeer, and the Public Building Commission, and in Cook County, we are not one entity. They're all separate. So you may have contracts with the county, you may have contracts with city colleges or CTA or public schools. I get the phone call all the time telling me that, or stating that they have a certification and or they have a vendor number with one of our sister agencies here, and that they want to bid on a contract with the city. You can't. You have to have city credentials in order to do that. So we are not, although we are a sister agency one to another, any certifications, licenses, vendor record, ID numbers, or anything does not coincide with anything for the city, so you must register in order to be a City of Chicago vendor. Request the iSupplier invitation. An iSupplier invitation is granted to those vendors who are currently holding a vendor record, already have done business with the city, and they already have a vendor code. Those vendors can request an invitation, and that's a simple, short form. It comes via email, and then we look it up via their email and or their vendor name. If they exist in our system, then we simply add you to it, and you will get an email from Workflow Mailer with your temporary password, and you'll be able to log in. But for those individuals who have not done business with the city, do not have a vendor code, never been paid by the city, then you must do a new vendor registration. And our new vendor registration is a little bit more detailed. It asks a few more questions. You see it's 4 steps to that. to invitation is just an email to the eProc support mailbox, which it explains all within this home page. What I wanted to show you most important is when vendors are registering, when they get to tax county right here, it sometimes fails, and we'll get the phone call or the email that they can't register, it's not accepting USA, or it's not accepting whatever they entered. It is not a required field, it is not asterisk there, so you can skip that part. I wanted to show our guests that if you have to register as a new vendor, you can skip the tax county because it is not a requirement. Complete your 4 steps, and then that will be received in our prospective suppliers module. We'll review it. One most important factor to that is you must upload, which it is required, is a W-9, your tax ID number, your FEIN. It is a requirement. So we do ask for a PDF of your W-9. If a PDF is not attached to this application, we will ask for it, and we will not approve your registration until we receive it and match it against the data that you put into these fields. Any questions?
So we have to have that number even before we get the bid?
Okay, well, bid. 2 things. To register as an iSupplier portal vendor, you must have a W-9. You must have an FEIN number. To submit a solicitation, to submit an electronic solicitation, you must have an EDS on file. So those are 2 very important factions to both of these systems.
An EDS?
An EDS, an economic disclosure statement. Yes. And you must have an EDS on file. When you submit that, you won't be able to submit it without it for your solicitation. You will not be able to, we will not approve your registration without a W-9.
And how do we get those 2 things?
Well, you can go online and search, but we can discuss that after the fact. So the EDS is a whole nother fact. Okay, so there are 4 steps to the registration. The next item I want to show you is I'm following the orange ribbon. So a lot of times, all the time, when I'm speaking to the vendors via email and or phone, and we're speaking on the microsite, I lead them to the orange ribbon. This is right here. I call it, this is orange ribbon of links. And each and every one of these links has one way or another a help aid for you, either in the iSupplier portal and or for the bid solicitation. So what we're going to look at now is our current bids and solicitations opportunity. This page is loaded with information. I'll start from the bottom up. This blue line here speaks, and I didn't look like this page, so I'm not going to click on it. I'm going to explain it to you. This is our non-eProcurement bid and solicitation opportunity. If any of you, and I don't know, I haven't asked the question, and I'm not asking the question because we will get there, have done business with the city prior to it being e-solicitations, you know that you had to look at our paper bids. So right here, non-eProcurement is just that. It's a listing of our paper bids, for which are read and opened down in the bid and bond room, and it's all paper. It's not an electronic, it's not interchangeable. If I started on paper, I'll end up electronically. No, a paper bid is just that. It's a paper bid. So anything that, one of the things that we do is we have our bid advertisements. So they're in the paper, up under bid advertisements for procurement services. We have a weekly bid opening listing, and if it lists any solicitations that's open, when it is opening in its paper bid, you would go here to look at that. But if it's an electronic bid, then you go here to look at that. eProcurement bid and solicitation opportunity speaks to only e-solicitation, only e-bid. It also explains to you in this paragraph that if you're not a vendor with the city, that you have to register. So it gives you your link for registration right here, so that we can begin the process. And once you click on this right here, this link right here for eProcurement bid and solicitation opportunity, you will get what we call abstract. This abstract is a listing of all of our electronic solicitations.
And for how long is that typically?
Well,
Lists.
the list, it
Do they
says,
change every day?
I'll explain it to you. So right here we see we have a list of 10, and then it says next 10. So we have like 14 solicitations out right now. I'll start from the top. This paragraph appears explaining to you that these eyeglasses right here are the details, which is actually the PDF, the solicitation in a PDF form, and that's over here. Then it says in order for you to view the solicitation, you will be viewing it in a PDF file. You must open it. We'll go through all of that. And here it explains that if you have more questions or if you need more information, that you would go to this website here, which I just showed you, which is the iSupplier portal website. And you'll have a list of information on how to get to all of that. And again, for our paper bids, which is a non-eProcurement bid, it asks that you visit us here at cityofchicago.org/bids, and that's where you'll get a list of our bid openings.
Quick question.
Yes.
With e-bids,
Yes.
do they only bid electronically, or is there also a paper opening too?
Well, yes and no. We highly encourage our vendors to submit electronic solicitation if it is an electronic solicitation, but we do not discourage you from submitting a paper bid to an electronic solicitation. But we do discourage you from, but if some things happen, and we come across this often, where you begin electronic solicitation and you want to submit a paper bid, right? You've already began your electronic solicitation, but you do not want to complete it in electronic solicitation. At that time, once you begin the solicitation, its status sits in as draft. You'll see that shortly. And then you want to submit a paper solicitation. Now you've got two solicitations out there. You've got a hard copy paper document, and you have an electronic one sitting in draft. We ask our vendors that if you have submitted an electronic solicitation but it is not completed, that you can cancel it. But you should let your procurement specialist know that you did enter electronic solicitation, but you are going to enter a paper bid for this electronic solicitation. So no, we don't tell you that you can't. We just ask you to submit an electronic solicitation when there is an electronic solicitation. To not interchange it is not our business practice and or process that we would want you to not complete an electronic solicitation and turn in a paper bid, but we do not tell you that you can't. Okay. So from left to right, we have our table of electronic solicitations. It speaks to our department name, our contract type. We don't use program model. The solicitation number, specification number, the solicitation title. The advertisement date is the date that it enters into the paper. The supplier response start date is the date that the bid opens. The supplier response due date is the date that closes. And then anytime that if there are any questions, they give you like a week or so before bid opening to ask your questions. And then to the far right is the eyeglasses where you would click on to get a PDF copy.
To get what?
A PDF of the solicitation.
Does
So-
it doesn't list there about any of the ones that are only paper bids?
I'm sorry,
It doesn't list there any of the ones that are only paper bids?
these are all only paper bids.
Okay.
On the abstract, when you're here, the eProcurement bid and solicitation opportunities caveat, the key word here is eProcurement bid, right?
Okay.
And down here is non-eProcurement, meaning that that's a paper bid,
Okay.
okay? And an eProcurement is all electronic solicitation. Okay, so we'll go back. So our department who is issuing the contract is police. Its contract type, another thing that has occurred with our new business process with e-procurement is terminology. So terminology has changed as well. So this event is actually the contract type. So this type of contract is a commodity, and then we have some construction, and down here we have delegate agency. And we're also doing we got RFQs coming up. We are doing the construction. We're doing the commodities. We have vehicles and heavy equipment, not e-procurement yet. So we have work services, not e-procurement yet. But we are in the process of doing pilots for those contract types. Before the end of the year, we should be all the way in e-procurement with the remaining contract types that we have. But we started off with the most frequent and the hardest. And construction is one of the hardest ones, and commodities is definitely one of the most frequent ones because it's almost a service contract. So now our solicitation numbers. Old school way, prior way, paper bid, before e-procurement way, all solicitations were numbered, spec number only. But now with e-procurement, it is solicitation number.
And spec number.
You can search by them by that method, but if you were speaking to one of our specialists, and you were speaking to an open solicitation, they're gonna ask you about the solicitation number. They're not gonna ask you about the spec number. That would be the next question. The first question would be, what's the solicitation number, if you had a question. So solicitation number is very important. Next is your specification number. The solicitation title is the description of the solicitation, so it's the subject. It's the description, it's the subject. And this terminology change is called, it's named solicitation title. The solicitation title is always preceded by the spec number. It's an identifier. It identifies because, again, that's tying in the old way with the new way. The original way was spec number title. Now it's solicitation number, spec number with its title. And we'll go through that when I go live. So the solicitation title is always, again, preceded by the spec number and then the title. The advertisement date and the supplier response start date is the same. All this says is that I advertised in the paper on today, and on today response start date, you can begin to start entering your solicitation. And the supplier response due date is the date that the bid is open, the day that the bid will be read and bid and bond. And again, there are no questions for this. Up above here, you see it shows to log in. Now, you can click on the eyeglasses here to get a PDF of the solicitation without logging in, but you need to log in order to begin the solicitation, okay? So if you're not ready to log in, you just want to look at the electronic solicitation, you click on the eyeglasses to get the PDF. And I didn't download that.
And will that give you all the details about the specific commodities?
Yes. I'm sorry, repeat that something.
Will that PDF give you all the details about the
Oh,
specific?
definitely, that's its purpose. Oh, yes, right, yes. The PDF of the solicitation is exactly what you're going to be bidding on. Exactly.
Will it also tell you when the job stops and ends?
I can't speak to the terms of the contract, because I'm not a contract writer, so I will not speak to that. It should have terms. Now, construction, contracts do not have terms. There is no start and end date to that. The construction starts and ends whenever it ends. Blanket contracts do have start and end dates, and it does begin at a time and supposed to end at a time, but then things come up which will create addendum clarifications and amendments. So that's why, I will speak to that. But to answer your question, is it start and end date? Yes, but it can be extended as well.
Okay.
Let me close that because that is what I want to do. But you'll see one shortly. Any questions about the abstract?
Would the solicitation number become the contract number at the end?
No.
Not at all.
It goes from solicitation to contract. But it's all started in the business process of the requisition. So, right. So no, the solicitation does not become the contract number because the contract number becomes a different number once it turns from a solicitation to now a contract. Because once it's a contract, it's owned now by somebody. It's a solicitation because all of you guys are bidding on it. Once it's a contract, it's one sole undertaker. Following the orange ribbon online training material. So again, here shows you how. Registration and profile updates. Without going through it because time is of the essence, I really want to show you an event. This is all about registration, how to register, how to update your vendor record file. Solicitation and bid opportunity, how-tos here on invoices, receipts, and returns. Supplier response submissions, which is how to submit a electronic solicitation here. And here at the bottom is all about delegate agency, and that's for any of our delegate agency vendors. Anything here that is not anything here, you can click on the link, you'll get a PDF, you can read it. Video behind it, you can click on video and you can watch it. If you are a delegate agency vendor, this link right here is solely for you. What is a delegate agency vendor? A delegate agency vendor is a vendor who is doing business with our delegate agency departments and their services to the public. It's publicly driven and it's generally grant funded. Our contractual vendors, our procurement vendors are vendors who are bidding on contract solicitations. So they're different, our business processes are different, but because we started this together, delegates had a whole nother process, nothing like what eProcurement is. It's a whole new learning experience for the departments and our delegate vendors to learn all of this because it's very, very brand new for them because they didn't have to go out for bid like they do now, like procurement does. Our contracts go out for bid. Delegates weren't. They were grant funded and they were granted to their delegate vendors. Not now. You bid on it. So it's very new. So delegates have their own section with all the explanations, when their training classes are, contact names and numbers and things of that nature. In the event that you get stuck on anything within the orange ribbon, for our delegate departments, their email address is down here, obmgmu@cityofchicago.org. Once you are logged into the system, you have your username and your password. If you forgot your username or password, you click this button right here. It'll go to a proprietary address and you will get an answer and or response. Any questions that you may have on invoices and or payments, that's directly to finance. It's not OBM, GMU, nor is it procurement services. This question goes directly to the finance office. Anything pertaining to these online training materials, iSupplier portal, even if you have a question about your solicitation, you can send an email to the eProcurement support mailbox. So that's in your help piece here. So now what I am going to attempt to do right now is log on as a vendor and submit an electronic solicitation so that I can show you what you're going to see when you log in. So once you gain access to the iSupplier portal, you will get a screen that looks just like this. Once you log in, once you gain access to the iSupplier portal, after you have gotten your email from Workflow Mailer, it's giving you your temporary password, you've entered your temporary password, you've changed your password, now you've used your username and your password, and now you have access to the portal. It'll explain all that in your email. You get a page that looks like this, and I believe it says Oracle something here. This is in a production instance, and because I am a test vendor and I'm in production, I will not submit my solicitation. I'm just going to take you all the way up to where you do that. Because then I'll be bidding or something, and I'm not bidding. Yes, ma'am. Question? Note, when you receive access to the iSupplier portal, generally your username is your email address. And when if you're brand new, and you're generating your password, double alphabet can't be used, will not be accepted. It's going to deny you entry. So like, I'm Pamela, Pamela, 2 A's, won't take it. It doesn't matter if they spaced out or joined together, double or duplication, it won't take for your password. So then now we've logged into the system, and this says City of Chicago, e-business suite, apps prod. This means production. You're in the production. Because we have test instances and we do testing quite a bit. This is our production instance. Apps prod is production. And you have your Oracle application homepage with 2 responsibilities. Okay? One of your responsibilities is the City of Chicago iSupplier portal with invoice creation. That's all things the supplier and finance. I'm going to click in there. You get 5 folders. Your first folder this is your home folder. It explains to you, it's explaining to me, it will explain to you as well. You're brand new, it's going to be blank. But as you begin to submit solicitations and talk back and forth to the specialist, it'll start to fill out, like I got a few items here. So this is my home page, and it's telling me that I have online discussions with probably a specialist about an addendum or an amendment or something has occurred. I need to know. I get it there, right? Then you have your orders tab. Orders is for orders made, orders received, purchase orders. Terminology has changed. We used to call, back in the day, a PO was a contract. Now, a PO is a purchase order. It's a release. You've ordered something from a vendor. Your shipments is when did you receive your item from your vendor? Or if you ship to the city, if you provided a service to the city that had to be received, that's it. Admin, this is your best friend for your vendor record. Can I add another contact name to the vendor record? Yes, you can. Can I change the address? Yes, you can. Can I delete? No, you can't, but you can inactivate. It says delete, it reads delete, but it's not going to be deleted, but it will be inactivated once you click on the calendar. So this is your vendor record right here. It speaks to the vendor name, the vendor number, and here is your FEIN number. You may, for delegates, you're going to have attachments down here. And you may have to even add attachments. They may say, hey, we don't see your articles of incorporation, or we don't see something that we told you guys you needed to have in order to submit to your solicitation. You can put it here, or you can put it in your solicitation. Over here, this is your menu path for your vendor record file. General, we're on that page. Your company profile is here, so your organizational information, right here is only, it's only referencing the FEIN number because we're a made-up vendor, so I don't have the W-9 to attach to it. We don't use cities to file additional information, but the delegates may, that we don't. So at address book, here is, we have several addresses here. They may, one of them may be obsolete now. I can click on the pencil, and I'll go, well, I think it wants me to do something else, because I don't see it. Let me cancel that. So you want to remove it, and it's asking you to, the address A has been inactivated. All sites associated with the address have also been inactivated, and the address is no longer associated to any contracts or bank accounts. We don't want you to do that, actually, because, well, it's a two-way street. If you say yes, we'll get it, and then we'll review it, and then we gotta do some research and see if your address that's up under A is tied to a contract. Because if it's tied to a contract and it's time to get paid, it's not gonna happen. So we have to verify that we can actually allow you to inactivate this address, okay? So we don't just let it happen, we review it too to make sure that it's okay to inactivate by per your request because you selected to do that. And so we have to review it first to make sure that we can. So we do give you the opportunity to do it, but we don't just let it happen because you asked for it. We do our research work too, because, you know, again, you won't get paid. But if you want to create an address, you want to add a new address, then you would click on the word create and you would begin to add. What these three things down here means: purchasing address, payment address, and RFQ only. RFQ only says, I want to enter this address right here because I only want to submit a bid. That's it. I just want to submit a bid. And you have to do this for RFQs, especially for the delegates. It has to be here. Payment means this is my pay site as well. Purchasing means I want to bid on the purchasing solicitation. So now I'm a contract vendor and I have to be purchasing. I want to be paid here, and for delegates, I want to submit to an RFQ. But again, my team, we go in and we select them all actually because we don't want any hiccups in the system at all. So everybody gets to play. All of them get to play in the sandbox with everybody else. After you've done all your updating and you've added everything, then you hit save and you would have populated a new address. What I get the most is contact directory. The person who used to be here right now, K. Woodford Moore, has access, user account, check mark there, has access to the iSupplier account. They're gone now. Can I add somebody else? I want it to be me. Yes, create. Now what is happening, and I don't see it here, so I don't know if I can, I will speak to it, but I don't see it, and I'm not getting ready to fill out anything. Anything with an asterisk beside it is a requirement. When you get right here to user account, the email address generally will populate down here because what this says is that here's my supplier name. Well, it's going to populate your business name in this box right here, and your username is usually your email address. always is the email address. It's by default. But this is what's happening with my new users, with the users. Once they add a contact person, they don't click these boxes right here, which is responsibility, select responsibility. By default, you are going to be an iSupplier portal with invoice creation member, but you cannot be it because it's not marked off, it's not selected, right? In order to submit a solicitation, you must have that responsibility. So when you're adding an additional member to the portal, give them both responsibilities. I get that all the time. Somebody can't bid on something and they send me a screenshot of that page where we saw the two folders. They just have one folder. That's because both of these boxes were not selected. You have the ability and the power to do that. I'm just returning it to itself. Okay. So that, and finance, I can't speak to because that's all about payments. Finance department will, any questions you have about invoices, uploading, don't see my invoice number that I received via email, whatever, you can go back to help, get the link for finance and contact them, and or whatever is the user department that you're working with. So we're going to come out. I'm going back home, and I'm going to go to home. And now I want to come out of the supplier portal instance. Again, these are the two folders, the check boxes that I just showed you guys. For the example that was there for us to see, that contact name, going to add a new contact name, is defaulted to one responsibility. That responsibility is the iSupplier portal with invoice creation. You need to give them another checkbox so that they can get the online bidding, because if you don't, they can't. Yes.
So would a company just have one person sign up and then they would go into that thing and create new,
Yes.
add new emails?
Yes.
And then if you're replying to a bid, is it the initial person who, if you're responding to a bid, is it the initial person that set it up, or can anyone that you create?
Anybody that's set up.
But only one person can do it. You can't have two people responding to a bid from your company.
Not for contracts, you can't, but for delegates, you can.
Okay, so for contracts, and whoever responds to it is the one that's going to get the emails regarding any addendum or changes or anything?
That is correct. That is another reason why, so on the delegate side of this world, they have more than one individual who can go inside that solicitation and update it, add to it, and receive addendum. If you're a contractual vendor and you do not have an additional person who is submitting a solicitation, then only the person who submits the solicitation will receive any amendments and addendums, or any notices, any online discussion. You can have another individual in your company sign up for the solicitation so that they can receive any amendments, but they probably aren't the one who's working on it, but they are getting informed of when amendments and addendums or clarifications come on.
And so that if you had that second person who just wanted to be notified,
I'm gonna show
are
you
they
how.
not responding to it then?
No.
Okay, you're gonna show me. Sounds good.
They have to, let me show you.
Sure.
So I'm a vendor, I'm going to online bidding. It's $249. Let's see how fast can we make this. So we City Chicago online bidding, sourcing, family tree, click the button, sourcing homepage. So this is your search open solicitation. Okay, these are all the active, these are the solicitations that I test in or I've already touched. So, but I want to see what's new. So I've already looked at this abstract already. I've been out here already today. And so now I know that I can bid on this. So here, search open solicitations. how do you want to search? Title is one method. Again, title is your spec number, and just your spec number goes here, just the spec, right? Number is the solicitation number. So I remember that the solicitation number is 7018. And then I hit go. Now this is, did I do it yet? I don't think I did, so I hope I got this right. This information you can just disregard anything down at the bottom. So my solicitation number is 7018. Okay, Kenny? So now it says, hey, I'm here for you to open me and look at me. But question I get all the time. I clicked on the solicitation number, but I'm not able to submit but I'm not able to respond to this RFQ because you have to hit respond. If you do not hit respond, you're only looking at the header and the lines of the solicitation, and you're not going to receive any addendum, amendments, or clarifications. You must hit respond. So to your question, if you have another business, if you have a colleague who wants to be able to receive addendum, they must click respond, but they do not submit.
So more than one person can click respond, but when you're...
The CEO and the vice president and the financial officer, those people want to be able to be informed when addendums come up or clarifications, any changes made to the solicitation, they can log in and respond.
And then when you submit
Only
it...
one person can submit.
And then if you ended up doing a paper bid, would you all need to cancel? Everybody who responded would need to cancel because they got... Okay.
So I'm going to respond. Wait, let's make sure. Yeah. So I could have clicked here and it would have opened up and it would have reviewed all of everything I'm trying to do. So you select the radio button here and then you click respond because it knows that if you want to. So across the column here, this is telling me that my solicitation number is 7018. It is followed by the specification number and the description. It's telling me that my contact person, my procurement specialist, is Stacy Stewart, that I have 7 days left before this solicitation closes. Okay, so I got 7 days to submit my bid. Once a bid has been submitted, your company's response, it'll be 1, right? And then you'll be able to, that lets us know we had 1 response. You'll get a response number. You won't see that today because I'm not submitting, okay? I'm just going through the motion. But once you submit, you get a response, you will get a response number. This monitor just says, how often did you go in? Somebody technical other than myself probably looked at the monitoring aspects. I don't. Unread messages is anytime there's an online message, there's an online discussion. Hey, we need you to upload your W-9. Hey, we looked at your EDS, but we see that per what we looked at, there are others who have more than 7.5% ownership. So now we need your family tree on that EDS. It gets real complicated, but the EDS is very important as far as ownership interest. Off of that, hit respond. This says, hi City of Chicago, I am interested in participating in this bid solicitation. I don't want to read this paragraph, but I do want to submit a solicitation, so I'm going to select that button right there so that accept will highlight and I can move on, right? This is our disclaimer to telling you we're not responsible for your electronic bid. Glitches happen throughout the day. Glitches happen at a bid opening. And so we cannot be responsible if we did not receive your bid. But under this disclaimer, we will review it with our law department and we will do all we can to rectify any situation that may occur. Do you agree? Yes, I do. I accept that. Now we can move on. This whole section here and Y4s, and if we need anything from you. It's called requirements, okay? So this section on that first page of the solicitation is very important, right? It's key solicitation parameters. It's speaking to a boatload of things, and for time's sake, I don't want to go through it, but it's very informational. It's telling you quite a bit about the parameters of the solicitation. If there are any bidder exceptions, it's spoken to right here. We are totally asking you to enter your EDS certificate. You must have one on file. Right here, we must fill out all of the boxes. You cannot miss one. It will not be accepted. It will come back and say, ding, 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 you missed something. This is a no bid line requirement, so there must be a line in here that if you don't have to bid, so what it is if, like our construction contract, so to speak. I don't think this one has as many lines. I looked at one that had like over 100 lines, and I couldn't use that for today. It would have taken too long. But if you didn't want to bid on all the lines, the system will not allow the line item, the price line item to be blank. You must enter something, so you have to enter something like 0 point, and about 8 zeros and a 1 on that line. It can't, but it cannot be blank. But if there's anything you need to know about submitting the solicitation, it's all explained to you here in requirements. Okay, and we're not gonna not let you not know what's expected of you, the vendor, when you submitting the solicitation. We're gonna tell you everything you need to do in requirements. So now right here, bidders exceptions, I'm gonna say not applicable. My EDS number is 1234. 12334. You can only be a corporation, a partnership, or a joint venture, or a sole proprietor. You can't be all of them, right? So I'm going to say yes to, we are going to sign and notarize a signature page, and that I am a corporation, that I am not a partnership, I am not a joint venture, I am not a sole proprietor. Yes to the bid execution page, which means that's the page that your company signs off on. Your one person signs off on that. Yes, I have a filing of a EDS. Yes, I have insurance. Yes, my insurance certificate will be attached to this. Do I want any of the City of Chicago bid incentives? Bid incentives are new. I can't say that it's all the new rage within the City of Chicago. It's fairly new, some years, but we're adding new incentives. We've added quite a few more new incentives, but the advantage of that is it gives you percentages off your price listing. It will explain to you if you accept a bid incentive. You read through that. We have bid incentive documentation, I think, on the table back there, and it explains how the bid incentive is beneficial to the city, to the vendor, but you have to qualify for it. So even though you may put it in, we may not. Once the specialists go over your bid, we'll have to see if you qualify for that incentive. So local business, generally, yes, all the time, yes to that. Small business, no. There are a lot of small business. Better contact information, all groups, yes. Okay, no bid line. If you want to look at the contract terms of the e-solicitation, it is right here. Review the contract terms and conditions, T's and C's, we call them. Very important, your detail specs, your detail specs, T's and C's, and the legal laws are in there. Yeah.
Quick question, with the signed, notarized proposals, performance bonds, all that stuff. So if this is eProcurement,
Upload it.
you upload it,
Yes.
and you click yes on there, but where would you upload it?
But this is not a construction contract, so it's not there. You don't see it, it's not there. But if this was a construction, I didn't choose that on purpose.
Okay.
Because it's a lot to a construction contract.
Okay. 'Cause I opened one and I didn't see where to upload it.
You didn't see, you opened one,
I have the same page. I
Uh-huh.
figured out I was going through it.
Oh, you don't know where to put up your attachments?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, right, we'll get there.
okay.
See right here, add attachment,
Uh,
okay, it's at the top, so maybe I should go up. You got two folders, you got two tabs here. You got your header tab, which is all that we've been through right here. And then you have your lines tab. Your lines tab is your proposal page, so we're getting ready to go there. But, so now, up at the top, forgive me for that, let me do that part. You are creating a quote. You click respond. Once you click respond, you have a quote number. It's right here. It's at the top. It is telling you that you are responding to this RFQ number, for which I select 718. It is giving you the title, which is your spec number and your subject and the title of the solicitation. Again, it's telling you that you got 7 days and 20 hours before this closes, and what is the date of the bid open. You can cancel at any time. You can save often. We say enter a page, save a page. Enter an item, save an item, because you just never know, you know. Electrical storm it's gone, and you got to start over. So save off. To view the RFQ, you click that to get the PDF. We'll look at that. Quote by spreadsheet. Quote by spreadsheet is very, very helpful for a construction contract. When you got 100 lines and or more, anything over 10, you may want to quote by spreadsheet. And the quote by spreadsheet method is, I'm not going to say that it's not user friendly, but it's very technical. So when you click on the quote by spreadsheet, then it allows you to upload. It'll give you the line items. I got to show you my lines because then I'm just talking and you're not understanding. But then again, enter something, save, right? Save and save often. That's what we say. So I'm just going to go down again just to make sure. Okay, again, your attachments are here. Anything you want to attach, your EDS, your insurance, your performance bond, your anything you, we want a wet signature, but you're gonna PDF your wet signature page, so your certificate, your ownership, what is it called? It's down here. Your bid execution page, it's a wet signature, but you're PDFing it to us, add it as an attachment. Anything that you add, title, spec number, whatever it is. Spec number 4115538, semicolon, insurance, EDS, those things of that nature. That lets the specialist know that you guys are uploading documents to a specific spec, right? Because you could have a PDF of some other attachment that's listing a different spec number, possibly. So this lets the specialist know, because this is all going back to the procurement specialist who is handling this solicitation. So it's very important that the naming conventions remain the same. This is what we teach in our training classes, that it should be preceded by it should be led by the specification number, semicolon, whatever it is that you're attaching. Insurance, EDS.
So are electronic signatures not allowed?
From
Not
you,
recommended?
yes, no, we're not there. We're not there yet, but we're moving that way. But we're not there yet. The only thing that would be electronically signed is at the end we use the mail.
Okay.
Okay. Everything else is an upload.
If you're uploading documents up until the bid date and then you need to make changes, can you
Up
delete
until the bid date.
up until the bid date?
What time?
Oh, what I mean is like you said, save as you go. So suppose you got your EDS number and you go ahead and you enter that, or you upload your bidder information sheet, something that's not the last minute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you upload that and save it? And if you had to change anything,
Mm-hmm. You can change. You can change often. We got an hour before the bid opens, and now you want to change something. You know you got time to do that. So you can do that, but it's another box that's up at the top that's gonna say, it's gonna create a quote, like you're creating something new, but you're not. It's gonna pre-populate everything that you've done, and then it's gonna also give you a new response number. So I only advise that changes in anything that you wanna do is not done the day of the bid opening. I had a vendor call me the other day who had 30 minutes to upload a spreadsheet that had about 50 line items in it, and she was having a pickle of a time trying to do that. So, no, it had more than that, and for me to test what she was doing to help her get her bid through, I didn't have time to do it, because she didn't have time, she didn't have no time. The next thing I look at, we 22 minutes in before the bid is gonna open. So we encourage our vendors, please don't wait till the last minute to make no changes to anything, to a solicitation on the day of bid opening. Try to do it the day before the bid opens, or, if it's their bid opening, not an hour into before it closes, because anything can happen in your bid, it's not gonna be. Because the system shuts down at 11:00.
So there is an option to revise your bid, but
Yes,
don't
there
do it
is.
last minute.
Please.
Got it, yeah.
Okay, so that's the page. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. I saved it. I'm going to continue. I'm sorry. The fail safe. So I hit continue, and it's saying you must quote at least one line item on this RFQ, because I didn't go to line. Right here, line. This is your whole reason for being in here. Lines. On this particular solicitation, there are groups. Okay. You may want to bid just one group. You may not want to bid on all groups, and that's where in the requirements, you would put the 0.8 more zeros than a 1 on that line, because it cannot be blank. The estimated quantity is already built out by the youth department, saying that we want quotes for this quantity amount to whatever this is about. Okay, so let's just put it. So I just want to read what am I getting ready to submit of solicitation to. So it's protection equipment, providing armor and riot shield and supply. The category, of course, is the commodity code that we have to have for NIGP. And the unit of measure is each, and the estimated quantity is 6,000. Return to previous page. If this was larger and we had time, we'll be doing the quote by spreadsheet so that I can show you how to do that. But because it's 3 lines and we're after 3 o'clock, I just put something in there. So now what this will do is do its own calculation, and it's going to give you a quote total. Quote total. Not knowing what any of this stuff is, because I don't know, but my quote total is $21,048,000. Right? So it does the math for you based on your quote price and based on the quantity amount, and it gives you your line totals as well. So when it comes to bid openings, when this bid is ready to open, in lieu of the bid and bond supervisor now going through mounds of paper, because the vendor does not tag the proposal page that has the total quote price on it. You flipping. Time is of the essence. You got 10 more packages to open up. Now, 10 more, so a bid to open up. Now, electronically, they go straight to this page. first have to sign your name, give your title, click this box. If you do the reverse, it'll tell you, no, you didn't put your name there. They don't want you to accept it. They want to know who you are first, and then it wants you to accept it. And then after you click the box, it will submit. It'll go back to your front page. You'll see that you have one response in your box. And then if there's anything, you can reach me at eProcurement@cityofchicago.org. That is on the orange ribbon in help. All right, it's in your handout. Wait, why is that about?
What's the validate button?
You would ask that. I can't
Okay.
do it, and I'm not gonna press it.
Okay.
I really don't. Wasn't trained in that. Glad you asked. Thanks for taking me to school this, okay? We gonna learn all together. Oh. PDF. I clicked on the eyeglasses. Ma'am, I clicked on the eyeglasses. It brings me to this page. I want to look at the PDF. I went to the abstract. I went to the eyeglasses. And then I'll go back so you can see. But now it's going to open up the PDF of what we've been exercising.
Can I ask you a question on that, what you're doing right now? Sometimes when I do what you're doing, it's one PDF and it just has the solicitation number, it's one big item.
Yeah.
And then when I go in and I respond and I'm in under my email, it's different, you know, it's like,
Truncated?
yeah, is that, it's all the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that nothing is confusing.
So are you guys currently iSupplier vendors? Long, already signed up? You are?
Just recently,
What's your company name?
Ascent. I think I reached out to you a couple months
Probably,
ago
yeah.
about, hey, what is this? And yeah, so then you sent me the registration number and then I registered. So we're in the system.
Okay. And so are you a delegate agency vendor? Contractual vendor? You want to bid on city contracts?
We're a small boutique program management firm.
Okay. Anybody else are currently a vendor?
Yeah,
What's your company? I think you've been in a workshop before.
Gallagher Asphalt.
Have you been in a workshop before?
I personally haven't. But
Okay.
someone might have.
Okay. And are you guys delegates?
Not yet.
No.
No, we will be vendors.
Vendors. Okay. So you're gonna sign up?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for those of you that are new to the system, Department of Business Management, Department of Business Affairs, and Consumer Protection, they're on 8, the same floor procurement is on. They host a lot of workshops on how to do business, period, with the city of Chicago, how to business licensing, all sorts of plethora of business related workshops. Procurement does they do a myriad of workshops on doing business with the city, how to become certified. Now that you're certified, now what? You know, those kind of things. I think it's maybe in this handout, this workshop handout right here on doing business with the city. You can go to Procurement's website, full of information. Sign up for our DPS alerts. DPS alerts will will send you an email every Monday of our list of current bid openings. The DPS alerts will do that. And the current list of bid openings is all things that are opening now and in the future is updated once a week. So once I clicked on to look at the PDF, this is the document that you will get. It's telling me right now that it's 142 pages. So it's full of T's and C's, the terms and conditions, maybe even some drawings, well, it's telling you right here what it is. And your requirements, So, everything that was on the front page, of the e-solicitation, when it's opening, if it's going to be, and again, also, when you become interested in submitting a solicitation, and if they are having a pre-bid conference, do attend. The pre-bid conference to a solicitation is the using department that's letting the contract, the procurement services, any technical team, any lawyers, any legal team, anybody that's responsible for the knowledge of that solicitation that the vendor must know will be at the solicitation, and they'll speak to it and explain anything that you may want to, question that you may have about it. So if when there is a solicitation that you're interested in, and there's a pre-bid for it, please attend that, a pre-bid conference. It explains quite a bit for the vendor. So this is your solicitation in this PDF form. Those things, those boxes that I had to fill out and the requirements, that's all right here in the front page. Anything that's an attachment. Now, when procurement has attachments in a solicitation, it's for you to know, okay? It's not for you to attach to us. We're gonna tell you what we need from you, but what we are telling you that you need to know is information for you concerning the solicitation. It'll be an attachment. And here, what I'm looking at right here is a list of all of the incentives that you may or may not qualify for. It has a scope of work and it's special conditions. So it's MBWB information, it's bid execution pages. Yeah. It tells you that you can submit. You don't have to bid on all the lines. You can bid on selected lines. Here are your lines right here, what we went through, we put our little money in. That's what we're bidding on 3 line items, which is actually 3 groups. And then you get to the nuts and bolts of the solicitation, which is all this right here. Okay, and it's all embedded. So that's your index, your table of contents, but it's all in here. So that's how the PDF looks. Okay.
And I can see on that without a FIN or a.
That is correct. You can look at that, yes, you can look at that, but again, you do need a FEIN number you need a FEIN number to sign up as an iSupplier portal vendor. Are you already registered with the City of Chicago? Then you need a W-9. If you want to submit a solicitation, you must have an EDS number. That's different.
How do I get
an economic disclosure statement, and that speaks to the ownership of the company. Send me an email on that because I don't want to tell you wrong about the email address. So
Okay.
eProc support and inquire. Well, I think it's online EDS at cityofchicago.org. Online EDS at cityofchicago.org. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, I thought you had checked that. So, Rodney, can you speak? Would